Hi guys, welcome to the Martial Arts Insider for all things martial arts. I'm Andy Brocklebank, head coach at Team Elite, and today's video will be a quick comparison video from our previous videos about how to wrap your hands for training versus how we wrap our hands for our professional MMA fighters. Okay, so the first thing to notice between our previous videos about wrapping our hands for training versus when we are wrapping our hands for a competitive bout. In this instance, this was an MMA bout just last Saturday. We are using medical gauze or bandages. These ones that we used here in this instance were the 5 centimeter wide ones, and I think they were 8 meters or it might have been 10 meters long. But we used 4 bandages and built up the hand in stages, and we bound it with zinc oxide tape or medical tape. So as usual, I like to start on the wrist and work my way up towards the knuckles, and then we go around the hands in the figure of 8 fashion, going above and below the thumb, as you can see in this part now, using the kind of figure of 8 fashion to go around and over the thumb and around and over the thumb. In this part now, I'm actually building up the knuckles and laying the bandage over the knuckles and then folding it back on itself. Now typically I use 5 or 6 folds to build up the knuckle a small amount for an MMA contest, as with the gloves being so small and tightly fitting, if you were to build up the knuckles like I do when our guys are fighting Muay Thai or K1 or even a boxing contest, the padding on the knuckle is just simply too big to fit into this small MMA glove. So quite substantially less when we do an MMA wrap. And then once I've gone round the 5 or 6 times, I then work my way back down towards the wrist, as you can see there. And then we are just binding it with the zinc oxide tape as usual. The third piece of bandage, I like to then secure the padded knuckle piece I have just placed over the fighter's knuckles. And the way I do that is the way shown in our previous video, where we wrap around each knuckle or each finger in a circular fashion, going from the inside of the thumb to the outside of the hand where the pinky finger is, and then wrapping around each finger and then coming back around the wrist again, and then moving to the second finger, third finger, so on and so forth, until all of the 4 fingers are individually wrapped and looped around. And then with the remaining bandage, just looping it around the knuckles and the metacarpals there, as you can see. And then, as per usual, always working down towards the bottom of the hand and finishing on the wrist. Again, just taking a small part of zinc oxide tape to hold it, just to stop it moving, with it not wanting to be unraveled. Now obviously this is a problem that you don't have if you use the longer bandages, but with these being small, it's needed. Now on that part there, I was just rolling back the pieces of bandage that are on the fingers, just to make it a little bit more comfortable for the fighter, as it irritates most of the guys that they are rolled up on the middle part of the finger where they're bending and folding. Now the 4th bandage is just to finish off and add that last little bit of tension on the knuckles and of course the metacarpals. Again, not too much. It needs to be tight to protect the fighter's hand, but it can't be too tight in that you're going to cut off the circulation in the fighter's hand. So again, here you can just see me using the figure of 8 technique, where we're going above and below the thumb and then working down towards the back of the hand, again below the wrist, just to finish off with a little bit of zinc oxide tape. Now again, with this being an MMA style wrap and the stipulation being that the palm has to be open, what we do now is we take the scissors and we make a small cut on the section of bandage which covers the palm, and then we cut towards the outside of the hand and then cut up to just cut a small groove out of the hand, as you will see now, and leave the palm exposed. Now at the moment there is not much of the palm exposed, as you will see, but this next section is where I take the thin layers of zinc oxide tape, and now I will start in the middle finger and I will wrap around this piece of bandage and fix the very thin piece of tape back on itself, and then once it is attached we turn the fighter's hand over, and we're now going to guide that piece of tape down the back of the fighter's hands, but very importantly through the groove between the two knuckles, so it gives a nice little bit of tension on the bandage and really attaches the padding to the knuckles. Now this process is repeated between each of the fingers. Once again, turning the fighter's hand palm up first, so it's easier to work with, easier to see. Folding the zinc oxide tape back on itself so it binds to itself, and then slowly turning the fighter's hand over again, guiding it between the two knuckles, keeping tension on it all the way down the back of the hand, and then any excess tape there I just rip off and I bind over the back of the wrist horizontally there, just to hold that strip in place. And then on the final one, nothing new here, we do the same again. We turn the fighter's hand palm upwards, we go underneath the bandage, which as you can see now is getting pulled up and exposing more of the palm as more and more pieces of tape are added and there is more tension. And then crucially, once again, guiding between the knuckles, keeping the tension all the way down the back of the hand. Again, a little bit of excess tape there, I just rip and bind over the back of the hand horizontally and then just fasten it in place there. As you can see, the wrap is starting to take shape now, with all the major parts of the hand covered. And then we take the 1 inch zinc oxide tape, and now we start to bind and finish the wrap, wrapping all the way around in a circular motion. Now with this part, it's important to note that it should not be done with too much tension, because too much tension will cut off the circulation of the blood in the fighter's hands, but not enough tension will not put a good seal on it. So it takes a little bit of experience, this, through a little bit of trial and error, but going too hard is definitely a big no-no. Once the bandages are finished, we just pack the tape on, squeeze them, give a little bit of pressure, check all the relevant parts, put the wraps together, compare them. Sam seems happy, ask him a few questions how he feels. He feels good. Little wink to the camera, and then off he goes to win the fight. Okay guys, so there is a little example of how we are wrapping our fighters' hands before a competitive bout. In this instance, this was an MMA bout that you saw on the video. Now, there's lots of different ways of wrapping your hands. A lot of them are to do with personal preference. Some of them are dictated by injury needs, i.e. do you have a sore thumb or is your knuckle damaged, etc, etc. I'd be very interested to know in the comments section, what is the way you wrap your hands and why? Okay guys, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed what you've seen here today, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, check out our other content, and our next video will be coming very, very early next week. Thanks very much for watching. I've been the Martial Arts Insider. Until next time.